Hey guys, welcome back. Bolt Spider here, and today I'm going to be talking about my first place Fiendsmith Malice deck list that I took to locals last night and today for the Supreme Darkness World Premiere event. So let's get right into it and let's talk about the deck. Now, I've been saying this a lot on Discord and a few other Discord groups that this deck has been really reminding me of how Orcust plays on top of how skillful the deck is, like how the Shizu Tearlament matchup was. This deck has been really fun. I've been enjoying it a lot, even though I know a lot of players in the community haven't been enjoying the Malice archetype as a whole, going against it. But let's get into the deck profile. I digress. So first off, of course, we're going to be starting off with the 3 Malice White Rabbit, the 3 main card of the whole entire archetype that you always want to have on guard for your combos, as it sets any of your Malice trap cards from your deck, which is actually really good if you get into tight situations. After that, we have the 3 Malice Dormouse, another one of your starters in the deck, being able to banish any name from the deck to boost the attack up by 600, triggering another name. So these are your 2 best ones. And then next up we have only 2 of the Malice Chessy Cat. Now, I was originally running 3, but I didn't like it, so I cut it down to 2. So realistically, this card is a 2 of going forward, especially if they ever receive new support, but we'll see what happens there. The honorary 4th Malice monster being Dotscaper, a very great extender off of something like Red Ransom, but drawing it kind of hurts because you have to normal summon it and do weird plays off of that. And since it was the world premiere event, we got to use the new cards, and we are running 2 Template Skipper. This card is absolutely nuts. Being able to summon to a Link Zone, a Link Monster points 2, then being able to banish from hand or graveyard 1 Cyrus monster and it becomes that name. There was times where I could go, my Dormouse got negated because I didn't have any traps. I'd link away for Link Decoder, summon out to Skipper, back to Skipper, banish the Dormouse, and get it back so I can go Link 3 into Red Ransom, making the Imperm or Veiler just obsolete. And this, in my opinion, is the perfect ratios for me because of how the deck functions. Chessy Cats being your draw 2 when you need, Dormouse being your main starter, and then White Rabbit being your main extender, which I really do love. Dotscaper is an extender that is a brick, but could do stuff there, and Template Skipper is just the best starter ever, and I'm shocked that they made it a common, so I hope it gets an OTS Super in the future. After that, let's get into the Fiendsmith cards. Let's just talk about them real quickly. We have the 2 Engraver and the 1 Lacrima, along with the 1 Lurie. That's all you really need to know on the Fiendsmith cards. Being able to grab your Tract, being able to dump your Paradise, and being able to just recur everything. And while we're here, I'm just going to go the 2 Tract and the 1 Paradise. This is the standard engine that you can run the 2-2-1-1-1, because Paradise is just to send Desiree, your Tracts to search out your Lurie, or if you really need, you could search out the Engraver, but that only came up once, and I already had the game, just so I could just discard it to get a draw off a Necroquip Princess, because that is a really, really great part of that engine. Next up, let's talk about the hand traps, because there's quite a bit of them. I was on the 3 Fulos, because there's a lot of people that are running Malice in my locals and a few other extra deck heavy decks. The 3 Ash Blossom, a really solid card this format still, because it could stop a potential setup if they go attempt effect White Binder, you could discard Ash. Then we also have the 3 Imperm, even though Imperm is alright against Malice, it's still great against a lot of other decks, like if you Imperm Duo Drive, or if you Imperm something like Sequence, or just really Imperming anything that needs to be Impermed. And then finally we have the 3 Bastilles, 1 Magma, 1 Jerusalem, and 1 Baldrake to round out the hand traps of the deck. Magnamut's the best Bastille that there is, Jerusalem is another great one, and Baldrake is also a great third option, being able to remove anything needed if you're going against something like Ryziel. And after that, let's get into the spells and traps. We have 3 Malice and Underground and 1 Gold Sark, literally 4 copies of Gold Sark. Honestly, I wish we had another spell card search. So that's one only wish I have, but being able to Gold Sark any Malice name at any time is very, very, very good. Now my choice of options that I was running for the spells and traps is very interesting, but let's get to the 3 trap card, the Malice trap cards first. The 1 TV 11, the 1 GWC, and the 1 MPT 07. Just the standard 1/1/1 of every traps. Some of my friends have been talking about running 2 MPT, but I don't really see it. I'd rather run a second GWC because rewarding something is really good. But after that, let's get into the last cards in the main deck, which I opted to run in the main instead of siding them, being 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust and 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talents. Thrust and Talents did way too much overwork over the weekend, being able to just grab Thrust, grabbing a Malice trap to add to hand, grabbing literally anything that I needed. It's a really good card, even grabbing side deck cards when you side them in, and it's good against hand traps, especially in this format, because my opponent went first, they set up their board, and then they land-seeded me. I just go the Thrust to go and grab a copy of Tract, which is really, really good. And then finally, for the last card, being Called by the Grave, I would run Terraforming, but it's not really needed because most of the time I did draw, sadly, Malice and Underground, so there's that. But afterwards, let's get into the extra deck and talk about the tech choices. First up, for the fusions, we have 1 Fiendsmith Desiree and 1 Necroquip Princess. 2 very most staple cards in the Fiendsmith package, because you need a level 6 Fiend because they banned Lacrima and they printed Necroquip Princess and Desiree for the Fiendsmith in Paradise. After that, we get into the DDD Wave King High Caesar. Very great end board piece, being able to stop things like Nibiru, or on your 5th summon of the Engraver, just before you summon this, they can Nibiru you, and they wasted a nib, then you can just go full Malice combo. This card is really, really stupid. I really think that it should get hit on the list, but that's my opinion, because that's what a lot of decks are diverting to, just to go into Caesar, instead of using Fiendsmith to go into Desiree. Afterwards, let's talk about the links. We have the 1 Sequence and the 1 Requiem. Both are super standard in the Fiendsmith combo, and our bridge being Moon of the Closed Heavens. A really good card in of itself, being able to bait stuff if you go affect target amongst your opponent controls, just so you could telegraph, hey, I might be on Moon, or just the bait out hand trap here or there. Then after that, let's get into the Cyberpile stuff. We first have the 1 Firewall Dragon, very standard, along with the 1 Access Code Talker and the SP Little Knight, your 3 staple link monsters that you need. I see people not running access code because sometimes you don't need it and they're playing Nightmare Griffin, but I'd prefer the access code because it could close out games faster and easier. Firewall Dragon's very good, being able to bounce back cards your opponent controls as an interruption, and SP as another interruption is all relatively strong. We're running 1 of each of the Malice extra deck monsters, the 1 White Minded, 1 Red Ransom, and the 1 Heart Encryptor. Just being able to have an interruption with this, being able to banish cards from the graveyard, or is very, very good. Resetting your trap cards as well. And just being able to add the field spell, and also if it's banished to summon back, to banish something like Dotscaper from the deck is relatively strong, especially for that card alone. And a lot of times it came up where I just go into access code banishing my Heart Encryptor, so I can summon it back at 5,000 attack to attack per game with 10,300 damage, which in my opinion is really good. And overall, Malice Link monsters are very, very powerful. Then finally, we're going to be talking about Splash Mage, just in case if you get into Nibiru'd or if you need to extend into your further combos, so you can go up into another Maliss Link monster when you need it. Link Decoder, because this card's actually really dumb now with format skipper. And finally, honorary Cyber Monster, Haggard Lizardos, even though it's a reptile. This card barely comes up, but when it does, it is just another form of Splash Mage, but you get another monster so you can go up into a Link 3. So relatively, all these cards are very essential for the deck in how I play, and just in the deck in general. I've seen a lot of people just running this exact extra deck, which is absolutely fine for the Fiendsmith build. And now for the side deck. Droll Lockbird, never sided it in, never saw it once, because it was never needed. I didn't go against Raziel, I didn't go against Fiendsmith Raziel. There was a lot of Maliss players at my locals tonight and yesterday. I think yesterday we had about 4 or 5, and today we had 3 at least. So that's why Artifact Lancia is in here. I'm definitely thinking of dropping Droll for something else, because out of the 2 days I played, the only loss I had was against Labyrinth, and Ghostbell would have done more rather than Droll. And then finally, we're running 2 Molcharmy Perulia and the 1 Molcharmy Meows. Meows never came up, even though it's there just in case for Maliss, so I can do Meows and Fuelos, so I get draws no matter what my opponent does. So there's that. After that, we're looking at the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, because it's a really good card. It's a good blowout card. I kind of wish I was on Lightning Storm a little, because it's just another literally way to blow out back row decks. 3 Book of the Eclipse. This card is really good against Raziel, being able to flip all their stuff face down so they can't use their cross or even use their Fiendsmith side of things if they're on stuff like Caesar. So you could just flip everything face down and just proceed to combo. The 2 thrust targets I have in the side deck along with Duster would be the 1 D-Barrier and the 1 Sanctum. I'm thinking of cutting Sanctum for a Lightning Storm and cutting probably a Eclipse for Lightning Storm, or maybe 1 Droll for a Lightning Storm, and then putting something else in place for the 2 Drolls. Overall, I'm really happy with the list going. Well, out of the 3 times I've played this deck, going total of 10-2, I think that's how you math. Yeah, 10-2. Just 2 losses total with the deck at locals, and this is such a powerhouse of the deck. I definitely enjoy it. And like I said earlier, it reminded me of playing Orcus back in the day, where you do your plays and end on a mediocre board. That's what this deck does, but it has a little extra, like how Tearlament was, where it was super powerful and you could end on something so little, but it does so much. But I want to know what you guys think about the deck profile. I hope the quality is better than previously, because I think I get everything where it needs to be. And getting the playmat along with the promo tonight just felt really nice. Just being able to be there, have fun, play with friends, and talk to them about how things have been going in their life and how things have been going with the game on their side, because I know a lot of people are switching to other card games like One Piece or going to Pokemon, but in my opinion, that's how the course goes. Every single time when something happens, people go to other games just for the time being, and they just do other things in the meantime, which absolutely is fine. That happens to everyone. I've taken breaks from Yu-Gi-Oh! Before, and that's how it is every single time. But enough of that. Enough chit-chatting. Enough just rambling. I have been Bolt Spider. I hope you guys did enjoy the deck profile. Hit that like button down below if you did. Comment down below if you have any questions of some plays or some options I chose with the deck. And let me know how you're doing down in the comments. How you feeling, if you need to reach out and just to get things off your mind. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you all in the next video, and goodbye.